It's Nolan.
I've been out in paradise, rolling like a paradise, busting out the scene, go against me, not a fair fight. I've been out of paradise, rolling like a paradise, living out my dream, getting paper, that's my way of life. I wanna thank the academy, I had the vision to get these awards. Ay. A lot of these people be wondering how did I do it, it came from the source. Ay. Masterminds, why they rationalize, I be dancing on them for the exercise. Gotta watch them be, they wanna analyze. When they come to talking, I don't fraternize, don't apologize for my greatness. Status high as appellations, I get accommodated around the nation. I am not for the bed and I'm finna focus on the celebration. Money coming through inflation, tracking my book is like it's education. I am a product of pure dedication, I can be patient. Who wanna get in my way? Better clear my path when I'm coming through. Finally I'm getting to the bag and it's overdue. Anybody trying to make a bet, I don't pay my dues. Playing with my name is not a threat, I'ma make a move. Time and time again, money be my only friend. Pilot in my caravan, fresher than your peppermint. Rock star, pop star, I ain't tryna pick. They got me fishing for the check, I'm about to run them out in paradise, rolling like a paradise, busting out the scene, go against me, not a fair fight. I've been out of paradise, rolling like a paradise, living out my dream, getting paper, that's my way of life. I've been out in paradise, rolling like a paradise, busting out the scene, go against me, not a fair fight. I've been out in paradise, rolling like a paradise, living out my dream, getting paper, that's my way of life.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. In this video, we're going to be leaning once again into the commentary portion. On the heels of this election, of course, with Trump winning and Kamala Harris losing, emotions are definitely high. A lot of people have a lot of feelings on both sides of the spectrum. A lot of people have different criticisms about both candidates and, of course, criticisms of our next president. But one thing that's definitely been rampant the last few days is people that have kind of shifted. I won't say shifted, because in this video, we're going to be talking about Amanda Seales. Her perspective hasn't changed much, but some people have come out and basically, although they were supporting Kamala, they've now decided to kind of throw her whole campaign and her efforts and the messaging of said campaign under the bus. And a lot of people are now trying to say that she didn't say the right things to the right people, which is why she wasn't able to connect, right? And in that, we've got Amanda Seales coming out basically echoing those same sentiments. And we have content creator, actress, and singer Jessie Woo coming out and voicing her opinion on what Amanda Seales had to say. All right. Now, again, when we start talking about politics, we start talking about election, we start talking about civics and, the social world outside of entertainment and music and stuff like that, it can be very divisive. Sometimes it's not the best idea to make your stances public because it's so divisive. But let's go ahead and get into it. All right. So on the heels of Donald Trump being elected as our next president, Amanda Seales came out and had some things to say about Kamala. She was very, I won't say emotional, but she was very stern in the way she delivered what she had to say. So here's a video that's been making its rounds the last couple days.
Can't ignore your base and win an election. It's just what it is. They might, have some tricks up their sleeve and whatever the fuck, but can't be a black woman running like a white man and win an election. Not for the real ones, at least. Not for the real ones. Not for the ones that actually know what the fuck we're talking about. Yeah, her base, Sticky, her base. Yeah, you can't run and ignore your base. Your base are the people who are not. It wasn't, you can sit here and say, oh, it was Latino women and white women, but what you're ignoring is the fact is that there are bunches and bunches and bunches of people who simply did not vote. Yes, and a lot of her bases voted for Trump because she did not give them anything interesting to vote for. Obvious is that there were incredibly large swaths of people that begged to be seen. That begged to be seen. And they were ignored. He's speaking to all of those people. Let me speak to all the people that he's forgetting. Let me make them feel home. Let me make them feel safe. Many of you watching right now, you're going to have to be forced to wake up in these next 4 years and realize that it's not just about fucking you. You're going to be forced to realize that the only way that this person and this faction, this fascism, this version of fascism, because it's all fascism, the only way that it gets dealt with is by connecting with people that are not you, that are not like you, with seeing the people that are not like you and making them feel at home.
Very interesting message from Amanda Seales. She feels like a lot of people felt not represented by the Harris campaign, right? I personally only know of one group of people that felt perhaps not represented, and that were, basically the Free Palestine people, which, hey, if that's where you stand, I understand. But that's the only group I know that felt unrepresented. Now, if y'all know another group of people that felt, let me know in the chat, right? But I don't see how Trump represented them any better. We went through his whole thing the other day, his plan of action for 2025 and whatnot. So after we run Jessie Woo's response, I'm just going to pull up some of the talking points from Kamala Harris's campaign and the things that she was planning to implement. And y'all let me know if these things are not interesting or compelling tenets for a vote. We can't take it back. We can't redo it. We can't do anything about it. But sometimes we just have to address what's on the table. And that's all I'm doing, is addressing what's on the table. But let me allow Jessie Woo to say her piece first. All right, give me a moment here. Here we go.
Well, it's been a couple days, and I've seen so many people giving their hot takes about why Kamala Harris lost the election. I saw a video somewhere with Amanda Seales where she was like, well, she ran her election, she ran her campaign like a white man, so you can't, ignore your base and run your election like a white man and expect to win the election. Mind you, 92% of her base voted for her. So I don't get it. Almost 80% of black men who did vote also voted for Kamala. So again, I don't get that argument. Then I see those of you saying, oh, well, she ran her campaign like it was an HBCU homecoming. Yeah, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion up there. Okay. So she's the first presidential candidate to have rappers on their stage. Meanwhile, we literally watched Trump and his wig have a whole Jim Crow rally. What are we talking about? So when Joe Biden was running in 2020 and he had Cardi B, he had other popular black, well, Cardi's not black, but other black adjacent celebrities speaking on his behalf and campaigning, joining him on his campaign trail. And back then it was on Zoom. He was giving HBCU homecoming too. So how he won, but Kamala didn't win? Or when Hillary Clinton had Mary J. Blige talking about, is it a gun? Is it a knife? Is it a wallet? This is your life. Like when she had Mary J. Blige out here in her crispy chicken bag, she didn't win either. Why is it that we can't just say, hey, the exit poll spoke. This country just doesn't want a black woman, a woman, period, let alone a black woman leading it. Why do we do this Like, why is everybody trying to blame Kamala for her not winning when the truth is there? And the truth has been speaking to us loud and clear. Joe Biden woke up on a Sunday morning and just said, I surrender. Like, just quit on a Sunday morning, giving Kamala Harris less than 4 months to pull together one of the best campaigns I've ever seen. This woman raised over $1 billion in such a short amount, in record time. People from all different walks of life, like, her campaign mirrored what the country looks like. And she did that in a very short amount of time. Why is it always her fault? Like, everything is always the black woman's fault. Like, I don't get it. And why are black people who are saying things like, oh, well, it look like an HBCU homecoming, why are y'all so anti-black? Why is it when it's black stuff, it's, ooh, it is, what?
Yeah, I can't say I disagree with Jessie Woo too much here. And she was just about to get into something that definitely I can't agree with. Like, why when it's black people doing things that black people enjoy doing or black people enjoy engaging with, and it's harmless. We're not talking about coonery. We're not talking about minstrelsy. Just having people that we identify with on screen advocating for a presidential candidate. It's all good when they do it. It's a problem when she do it. Fuck it. All right. So that's Jessie Woo's response to Amanda Seales and others that basically echo those same sentiments. Now, like I said, I outlined some of Trump's plans. So as everybody's criticizing Kamala's campaign, let's just revisit the tenets of her campaign and try to understand what's not interesting or intriguing or vote worthy, okay? And again, we can't change it, but if that's what's on the table, let's address what's on the table. Abortion. Eliminate the filibuster to restore the Roe v. Wade precedent on abortion. As we know, during Homie's last run as president, they reversed Roe v. Wade. Kamala wanted to restore the precedent that was set on that, right? I guess women's bodies and pro-choice isn't interesting. For the economy, ban corporate price gouging on food and groceries. I could have swore I heard both of them speaking on this. Their messaging around the subject is a bit different, but they both spoke about this. So if this ain't vote worthy, then I guess neither one of them should have spoke about it, I guess. Right? But banning corporate price gouging on food and groceries, I guess that's not interesting, as if niggas don't have to eat multiple times a day to survive, and it comes out of our pockets. Taxes. Okay? Her plan was to not raise taxes for those of us in this country that earn less than $400,000 a year. It's a pretty large population of people who wouldn't have to incur any sort of additional taxes if you make less than $400K a year. But I guess that's not interesting. I guess tariffs on countries that will be importing their goods into our country is more interesting. I guess mass deportation, removing people who ain't bothering you, they not taking your jobs, they really doing shit that you would rather not do. I guess removing them is interesting. We'll keep going though. She wanted to roll back Trump's tax cut for the wealthiest Americans, which the wealthiest people in the world, that's pretty standard that they will be taxed more, because even if you get an increase in your money, you typically get taxed differently unless you have a tax professional that can outline different ways for you to kind of circumvent that. But whatever. Enact a minimum tax for billionaires. How many billionaires is it out here for us to give a fuck about what their minimum tax would be? That seems normal. Increase the tax rate on long-term capital gains to 28% for those earning at least $1 million per year. Again, how many of us are making $1 million a year? Why would we vote against that? Okay. Furthermore, expanding child tax credit to $6,000 for families with newborns. I know that would have been a nice one for me. That would have definitely been nice for me. For others that are out here having children or expecting children or planning to have children in the near future, I'm sure you would have loved to have gotten a $6,000 tax credit towards, your child younger than 6 years old. 2,000 up to age 16, but I guess we're gonna go against that. That's not interesting enough. Okay. As it pertains to immigration, which was a major part of Trump's, talking points. She was going to sign a bipartisan border security bill. Her major promise on immigration is to resurrect a Senate deal that languished after Trump urged congressional allies to block it. That measure would have given the executive branch emergency authority to bar most migrants from seeking asylum if unauthorized immigration at the border reached an average of 5,000 encounters per day over 7 consecutive days. So there was going to be some sort of restriction placed on how many people could come into the country at once if it was becoming overwhelming. The bill would have raised the standard to pass initial asylum screenings, expedited the asylum process, which would definitely benefit people that were trying to come here, and funded the hiring of thousands of new asylum officers and additional detention space. I know some people don't like when folks from other territories come over here seeking asylum and protection in times of need. You feel like that threatens you and your homes in some way. Hey, man, that's cool. That's cool. Housing. Provide first-time homebuyers with up to $25,000 for down payments plus more generous support for first-generation homeowners. You are going to receive a minimum $25,000 for down payments. And people say, no, that's not cool. No, they would probably just offset that by raising prices an additional $25,000 in the market. Okay, well, go get the 25 yourself then, the way that you had to before. See how many people just can save $25,000 for down payments in the economy we currently have. More power to you. Build 3 million more rental units in affordable homes. Outlaw new forms of price gouging by corporate landlords. You think that other motherfucker's gonna come in here and attack corporate landlords? Again, these are just basic human needs. Food was addressed. Shelter has been addressed. Pro women choice in procreation. Oh, man. I don't even... Where else do we go from here? Pass the Equality Act to protect LGBTQ Americans from discrimination. This nigga was literally doing trans hate commercials, running them bitches hundreds of times per day across multiple networks, even on YouTube. And that didn't tell you that he was running a hate campaign. So that tells me more people err on the side of hate than acceptance and allowing people to just live life. Ah, boy. Healthcare, extend the $35 cap on insulin for anybody out there that needed it. cap the amount of money that you would have to spend out of pocket for healthcare, you know, on your premiums and deductibles. Not interesting enough. Oh man. Do I need to go further? Raise minimum wage. That was another part of the conversation. Eliminate taxes on tips for people that work in the service industry and you're getting tips. She wanted to eliminate taxes on tips where you would get the whole thing. Establish paid family and medical leave. End sub minimum wages for tip workers and people with disabilities. End 4-year college degree requirements for federal jobs where appropriate, allowing people that did not have those education requirements met still were able to find jobs, at least federally. That stimulating the economy, allowing more people to get jobs in places where they would normally be isolated out is not interesting. How about small businesses, right? Most of Trump's supporters, they feel like he's a supreme businessman. I don't see how, but that's their perception, right? So in small businesses, they were hoping to generate 25 million new business applications, expand the startup expense tax deduction, for new businesses, right? So that means you would actually get less taxes on your business. You could claim more deductions for all the wannabe business owners and stuff out there. Okay. Increase the share of federal contract dollars going to small businesses. So if you are in the contracting business, if you had a small business and you wanted to, work with the government to provide services, they would increase the share of that money going to smaller companies rather than the ones they already have relationships with. Guess that doesn't equal up to interesting. And I keep saying interesting because that's the word that Amanda used. Provide 1 million loans to Black entrepreneurs, fully forgivable up to $20,000. Opportunity Agenda for Black Men was the name of the campaign. But Black men, apparently, they say, didn't feel spoken to or addressed. But the fucking program was called Opportunity Agenda for Black Men. So for all the, you know how many Black men have podcasts that say Black men don't get no type of benefits? And I've seen this too. You know what I mean? I've definitely seen grants and loan opportunities online that are geared toward, women and specifically women of color. And sometimes I'd be wanting to I've seen it where I've wanted to apply for certain things. And then when I get to it, it's like, okay, I can't, but that's just something you deal with. You know what I mean? If it ain't for you, it ain't for you. But then you get something that actually has you in it. Opportunity Agenda for Black Men. How many people knew about that? Not interesting. So I'm not going to stay here too long. I think I've said enough. Again, I can't change anybody's mind. I can't change anybody's vote. They've already been counted. But let's just, when it comes to education, right? Here's your boy. He's got a 10-point plan on fixing education in America. Let's let him speak for himself. And y'all let me know how this sounds to you. And most people on this channel, I kind of know where y'all are. But there's always a few that make their way here. So for those few, let me know.
Here are 10 key ideas that will power our movement for great schools. First, we will respect the right of parents to control the education of their children. Second, we will empower parents and local school board to hire and reward great principals and teachers, and also to fire the poor ones, the one whose performance is unsatisfactory. They will be fired. Like on The Apprentice, you're fired. Third, we will ensure our classrooms are focused not on political indoctrination, but on teaching the knowledge and skills needed to succeed: reading, writing, math, science, arithmetic, and other truly useful subjects. Fourth,
This nigga is working in politics and don't want to teach kids about politics. Let me stop.
we will teach students to love their country, not to hate their country like they're taught right now. Fifth, we will support bringing back prayer to our schools. Sixth, we will
Prayer for who? Now y'all know y'all not finna let no Muslim children come to school and be praying. Y'all already been trying to get that shit removed for years. And I'm not saying that in a disparaging way to my Muslim folks out there. I love y'all. I respect y'all. I respect your religion as well. I'm not a Muslim, but my name comes from y'all. And I've even studied some of the teachings. So no offense, but for people that come from other places that have other religions, please understand, when they say prayer will be reintroduced in schools, he ain't talking to you. They're talking about Christian prayer. And we already know if the brand of Christianity is coming from a motherfucker like this, that ain't the Christianity that you gonna be learning at home. But let me allow him to finish, because I keep cutting it.
achieve schools that are safe, secure, and drug-free, with immediate expulsion for any student who harms a teacher or another student. Seventh, we will give all parents the right to...
There's no way I will make it through this shit, man. I can't. All right, if you punch a teacher, you fight a teacher, immediate expulsion. That sounds good on the surface, but what if that teacher steps out of line and tries to put their hand on you first? Is that going to be evaluated on a case-by-case basis? He says immediate expulsion for any child that harms another student. Now, how many of y'all got in fights in school? So if you fight somebody in school, you're going to be immediately expelled. Now, some people may have, I never got expelled in school, but when you get expelled, that means you can't come back. We're not talking about detention. We're not talking about suspension. We're talking about expelled, meaning you got to go to another school. How is that going to be determined? How severe does the damage have to be in order to determine expulsion? Again, we got to think about the terms that are being thrown around. And we also have to look at how is this going to be reviewed? Some schools are more lenient than others, teachers. Again, is this a discretionary thing, or is this, because he says automatic, like it shouldn't even be no question. So to me, that just reminds me of like school to prison pipeline type shit to me, but whatever.
Choose another school for their children if they want. It's called school choice. Eighth, we will ensure students have access to project-based learning experiences inside the classroom to help train them for meaningful work outside the classroom. Ninth, we will strive to give all students access to internships and work experiences that can set them on a path to their first job. They're going to be very, very successful. I want them to be more successful than Trump. Let them go out and be more successful. I will be the happiest person in the world. but we want our children to have a great life and be successful. And 10th, we will ensure that all schools provide excellent jobs and career counseling so that high school and college students can get a head start on jobs and careers best suited to their God-given talents. This is how we will ensure a great education for every American child. And one other thing I'll be doing very early in the administration is closing up the Department of Education in Washington, D.C., and sending all education and education work and needs back to the states. We want them to run the education of our children because they'll do a much better job of it. You can't do worse. We spend more money per pupil by 3 times than any other nation, and yet we're absolutely at the bottom. We're one of the worst. So you can't do worse. We're going to end education coming out of Washington, D.C. We're going to close it up, all those buildings all over the place, and you have people that in many cases hate our children. We're going to send it all back to the states. Thank you very much.
That's your man. I'm not even going to try to counter the shit that he said at this point. So states are going to determine educational standards on a state-by-state basis where the federal government will have no bearing on what that looks like. But I thought our American government was founded upon checks and balances. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one. All right? Be safe out there. Please. Peace out.
Yeah, king of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming, I swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.